Hey guys, it's Alana.
And Jonah.
And welcome back to another episode of Seeing Other People. Dating sucks.
Dating sucks. That's what we used to say.
That is what we used to say.
Now we don't say that.
We don't. But dating does still suck. It can.
Of course
still
it does.
suck.
Yeah, dating still sucks.
Nothing's changed.
Dating still sucks. What's going on in your world, Lana?
My world, dating doesn't suck that much right now in my world. I actually have a big day. This is coming out on Tuesday. I have a big day tomorrow, which is Monday, because we're recording this on Sunday. But by the time this comes out, I will have gone through a meet the parents situation.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing to meet? How's it going down?
I'll let you know. I'll report back.
No, like how are you meeting the parents? Like,
No,
what's the
I
activity?
will let you know. I think.
You don't know what the plan is?
Well, there's a little bit of like both parents happening at different times in different settings, so we're like figuring it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Suspicious answer. Okay.
I don't have all the answers yet. We're figuring it out.
Okay.
What about you? What's going on with you?
Not too much. Very busy Sunday. I did start my day off at McCarran Park. I've been going there to start running because I'm trying to get in peak physical condition. If you guys are following the Seeing Other People AMA, you could see my perfect running form, which it is perfect running form. I mean, clearly I did track in college and high school, middle school, and pre-K.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, obviously kidding. And by the way, if you're a single person living in Brooklyn and people sometimes ask us, like, can I meet people? Like, go to McCarran Park. Holy shit. It's just a bunch of attractive, cool, seemingly cool people running around the track, playing with dogs, having a picnic. It's a great place to single and mingle.
I like how you corrected yourself from cool to seemingly cool. But my question is, like, what actually defines somebody as cool? What makes a person cool?
Totally. And I think cool to a lot of people has different meanings. Everyone has a different understanding of cool. I think you and I are aligned that cool doesn't... The less cool you are, the more cool you are, is the way I see stuff.
Agreed.
And if you're in McCarran Park, I think it's safe to assume there's a base level of cool. You know, you are akin to the self-awareness that is living your best life out in Brooklyn, doing some physical exercise, getting out there. I don't know what makes someone cool. It's all relative.
So if I don't do that, like, I don't know if I've ever been to McCarran Park. Does that make me not cool?
No, the absence of not doing... No, because by that same logic, if I don't... What defines someone as cool to you?
That's like an existential question.
Well, if I was saying that someone's cool because they go to McCarran Park, that doesn't mean that if you don't go to McCarran Park, you're not cool.
Okay, well, that's... I just had to clear that up. Because, you know, you're Jonah from Brooklyn. I am not.
Correct. And our listeners sometimes sometimes people out there on the internet think that if you say that you're only cool if you drink Starbucks, then what about other coffee places? But although, shout out Starbucks. I do love Starbucks.
My favorite thing ever was when you made a joke about Starbucks being like a local mom and pop shop, and someone DM'd us being like, Starbucks is a huge franchise. It's definitely not a mom and pop shop. Like, duh. No offense to whoever DM'd us if you're listening, but like, no.
But this is classic. There's just so many people who don't get sometimes our sense of humor. I will say mainly my sense of humor. And therefore, when they see something like
douchebag,
me saying, douchebag, when someone says, when I say Starbucks is my favorite mom and pop, I'm obviously being ironic. It's like saying that Amazon is a local owned bookstore. Although Starbucks, I did hear Starbucks sources their beans from Family Farm. I don't know enough about this, so I don't really want to get into it because I will get slammed. But I do believe they source their beans from family farms around the world.
Love that. Wholesome.
So, but then someone here, you can correct us because I'm sure someone will, and tell us what actually Starbucks does.
Well, I'm looking forward to Double Star Day on Wednesday. That's all I have to say.
That's right.
Anywho, in today's episode, we are going to be answering a ton of questions from all of you because we know you love the AMAs that we do, me on Friday and Jonah on Sundays. And we thought it would be really helpful to have both of us giving answers to some of your AMA questions, as well as some of your longer questions that you've sent in over DM or via the Patreon or our email. So we are going to give you all the answers.
Let's do it.
What's happening?
You want to hit the first one?
All right. if I am to write to a guy first after having met in real life, when is the best time of the week, time and day, to reach out to him to propose to meet?
After having met, when is the best time of week, time and day
So
to
they've
reach out
met,
to him?
and this person wants to know when to send a follow-up text to meet again, like to go out again.
I would say before it's been 48 hours. So less than 48 hours is my immediate answer.
So time and day, does it matter? Does it not to you?
No, I mean, don't text at 4 a.m, but like, or like 11:30. Like, first of all, no, like no one should read into like the amount of times I used to go on Hinge at like 6:30 a.m. when I would just wake up. I'd be like, maybe I shouldn't be hinging at 6 a.m. Then sometimes you get those people who are also hinging at 6 a.m. and then you're connecting over that.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any right time. Like, just beyond it, don't make it seem like it's drunk text.
Correct.
By like texting at 1 a.m. on a Saturday.
I agree. And also you don't want to text if it's like, I would be a little cautious if it's like 9 p.m. on a Friday or Saturday and there's a chance that like they're getting drunk and going out. Like that's kind of a weird time also because you don't want them to be texting you back when they're drunk, or they could see it and then just not be in the right mindset to respond. So I'll just say like any day and just a time that's not like a going out time or a seemingly drunk time.
Yeah, but don't wait too long either.
Yes.
Like I said 48 hours, maybe it's 72, but like don't wait a week because then this person's gonna be like, wait, she might not like me.
Agreed. That's key there.
There we go.
Next.
Do guys actually ask to be official these days, or is it just assumed? Well, I think guys ask to be official. I think there's this myth that guys don't care about what the relation and the context is and the exclusivity. I think we care just as much as the other gender in the question. Everyone cares. What do you mean assumed? What does this question mean, Alana?
Well, I think it I don't know. It's tough because I've been in situations before where I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's totally my boyfriend. Like he's acting like my boyfriend. We're doing all the things that couples do. And then I find out like, oh no, he did not at all think that he was my boyfriend. So I think in that case, like you really can't assume. I don't necessarily know that it's like the guy is going to say like, will you be my significant other? But I think it's somebody needs to bring up the conversation, whether it's the girl or the guy. I don't think it matters where it's 2021. I think anyone can do it. And if you are a girl and you want this conversation to happen, just bring it up. I'll give an example because I just did this like very, very recently where I like was just like hanging out with the guy I've been seeing. And I was like, so are you going to ask me to be your girlfriend or what? And he goes, oh, I thought you already were my girlfriend.
Yeah. Shout out the Patreon episode. This is the kind of juice you do get on our Patreon account. Alana tells that story. And I think the conversation we had in that Patreon episode actually applies here really well, which is you still prompted the question, therefore got the answer.
Yes.
The dangerous
and I think it's
part,
important.
Yeah.
It's really important to have those conversations. Like you don't want to be guessing and you don't want to be confused or unaware. And you also should feel comfortable asking and bringing it up if it's someone that you think you're in a relationship with.
The key is to never assume, though.
Yes.
The key is to never assume. And even if it's at the point where it's assumed, you should still just do what Alana did and be like, so you can ask me to be your girlfriend or boyfriend and then get that reassurance. Because you never know. Maybe that person did not want something. That's where people get deceived and hurt.
It's just a little confirmation. Like you may as well be sure. You just may as well.
Agree.
Cool.
Excellent work.
On to the next.
Next.
On to the next. On to the next. Second chances for people who did not prioritize you the first time. Yay or nay? Jonah.
I would say yes. But I think I'm going to be in the minority of people who, what does that mean not to prioritize? There's so many different little possible ways of what didn't prioritize you the first time could mean.
I don't think it matters what it means. I think it's the fact that it didn't work because this person wasn't a priority in this other person's life. But do you try? Is it worth trying again? I also agree with you, actually. I think yes, but something has to be different. The person has to be aware and admit that, yes, I did not prioritize you and I'm sorry for that, but my circumstances have changed or my mindset has changed and it's going to be different this time.
I agree. I think if they are coming to you with the self-awareness that is the very reason that you guys didn't work in the first place, definitely worth giving it a second chance because they probably weren't self-aware about it the first time around. We're aligned. I like that. So short answer, second chance, yes, if they are self-aware of what the issue was in terms of prioritizing. There's always a lot of different specific things that go on in each other's lives, especially now. No reason to jump to a conclusion for what could be a good thing, but just poorly communicated.
Agree. Off of that,
on.
Jonah, I have a question for you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes, Alana.
Do you think people can change?
I don't know. It's tough. I don't want to say that. Of course, people are changing every day. There you go. That's my answer. What do you think people can change?
Yeah.
Again, depends. But like, I'm not the same person I was when I was 23, nor 25.
I'm not the same person I was on April 18th last year.
There you go. So people can change. I guess it just is a matter of like how and in what context. Sex on the first date. When is it too soon for sex? Alana's favorite topic.
It's so bad. I'm really okay. You all have probably realized like we don't really talk about sex on this podcast. Obviously, this is a dating podcast, not a sex podcast, but
true.
I'm really uncomfortable talking about sex. Like, there's nothing I'd rather not talk about.
We don't have to answer this question then. We can
No, we should answer it.
Okay.
It's important too. I think it's a legitimate question because it comes along with dating. It's just funny that I like, get stressed and nervous and uncomfy.
We don't
as
have
a
to
26-year-old.
Let's not answer it.
We should. I'm just making a funny aside.
I don't want you to feel uncomfortable.
I feel fine. I feel great.
Copy. Sex on the first date. When is it too soon for sex? I think you can have sex on the first date. I don't think it matters. Here's the secret from, again, sometimes these things, I don't want to speak for all straight males from Brooklyn, but in my particular case, sex on the first date is irrelevant to the potential longevity of a relationship. They're just not connected. Eventually, sex will have to be had because sexual chemistry is important to me. But it could happen on the first date. It could happen on the fifth date. It could happen on the third date, second date. Does not matter.
I think
Alana?
it's a personal thing because if you're asking this and you're somebody who maybe has any insecurities or like anxiety relating to self-esteem or dating in general, and you do have sex on the first date, then, or like early on, then I think it's gonna kind of come back to haunt you in a way where you're like, well, is this person only continuing to see me because I slept with them? Because like they just want sex from me. So I think if that's a question that could come up in your mind, then yeah, the first date is probably too soon. The second or third date might probably be too soon too. I think you would want to give yourself a little bit longer to be like, yeah, this person likes me for me. Okay, now I feel comfortable doing this, knowing that they continued to want to see me before this happened.
But what is your stance on sex on the first date? That was a very general answer that I agree with. I think it is very personal case by case, but what is Alana Dunn's stance?
I mean, me personally, it's a no. Yeah. It's a no. I need to be comfortable with somebody and I need to be comfortable with myself with somebody.
There's a family of birds outside my window that just popped up out of nowhere.
What do they have to say about sex on the first date?
There was that movie, Friends with Benefits, which is on Netflix right now. So I was just rewatching it. And Mila Kunis doesn't do sex on the first date. I think she has the 3-date rule, the 5-date rule.
5-date rule.
5-date rule. And she's dating Brian Greenberg. Shout out How to Make It in America. And they're like counting down the dates so they can have sex, and then they get to date 5 and he like ghosts her the next morning, like, and like leaves early, which is insane because it's Mila Kunis. Who's gonna ghost Mila Kunis? But I always think that, you know, Logan Ury, shout out Logan Ury, one of our all-time all-star guests, she always brings up a great point, which is, I guess I did say that I think you can have sex on the first date. I typically personally do not, because of the reason of like, if for whatever odd reason, one of us steps away and we're like, you know what, I reflected on that date and I didn't have the best time for whatever reason, I don't want the other person to think it's because of sex.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if we do have sex on the first date, then it's like, but in my head, I'm like, this bad example, she was rude to the waiter. That's going to stick with me. But like, yeah, maybe we're going to go home, be a little drunk, have sex. But I've like turned that down because like I've turned down that instinct because it's like, if you're going to, don't put the wrong idea in someone's head. So that's one of the risks that I think we run if you have sex with someone too early, unless you're both on the same page and it's like completely like, hey, this is not going anywhere, but we've been cooped up inside for a year and like, I really need to have sex. Do you want to have sex?
Right.
So like, I don't know, it's obviously you want it to be a vibe, safe, feel good about the person you're with. But I do not think the steadfast rule of no sex on the first date is like a general rule that people need to like live by, if that makes sense.
One thing I thought was really interesting. So when we had Lindsay, we met at Acme on our show, but then we went on her show and we had a whole conversation on our episode with her about her philosophy that sleepovers are way more intimate than sex. And that like you can have sex in the like earlier on, then you should be having a sleepover.
Yes.
Which I thought was like a mind fuck.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a sleepover is much, I think you and I agree on that. I don't think it's as intimate as, I see her point because it's kind of like you're sleeping there's another body next to you like all night.
Right.
I don't know. I don't get any, my whole thing is like, I can't sleep well next to some person until like date 5 or 6. I'm like, I'm just going to, yeah. And it's like subconsciously, it's like, yeah, you can fall asleep, but subconsciously you're always so much more tired the next day.
Oh my God, it's exhausting. Yeah.
It's like Sunday naps. Anyway, good point.
All right.
Next. If there's no kiss, does he not like you?
I don't think so. What were you going to say? Yes?
Let's hear your opinion. Does he not like you?
Okay, whatever. Well, what I will say is that I've ended like first dates where like the date was great and then there was no kiss at the end. And so I leave being like, wait, the date was great. Like, why didn't this happen? And in hindsight, sometimes there are just like, there's no moment for it. And yes, it's like you can make the moment. However, if you're at dinner and then like you're getting an Uber home and then the Uber comes like before you're ready for it to come. And then you have this like really rushed, awkward goodbye where like you don't want to like just like quickly kiss outside the restaurant in front of the Uber driver. Like that happens. Or similarly, if you like if someone gets walked home and let's say one of you has a doorman, suddenly you're like in front of their apartment and like it's like you two and the doorman, and then that's awkward. Like, I think there are a lot of things that can get in the way of that moment happening. I've gone on walks with people and like been like, oh, I'll order an Uber to like this corner. So we get a little walk in and then like my car will come. But then you get to that corner and then the Uber's there and it's just like, okay, bye. Like I think there are a lot of awkward moments that can happen that can get in the way, but that doesn't mean that it didn't go well or that they're not into you. But what do you think? You disagree.
It's a lot of excuses, Alana. You just said a lot of excuses. I'm going to start giving more hot takes because why not? Like, I think 3 months ago, I would have been like, oh, it doesn't mean anything. But just in the sake of entertainment and the sake of debate and perhaps, enraging the listener on the subway, shout out you on the subway right now in New York. If a guy wants to like do hopefully a kiss, like it doesn't mean he doesn't like you, but if he wants to like try to create a kissing moment, he fucking will. I don't know. It's kind of like it's like, of course you got to make sure it's a mutually wanted consensual kiss vibe, But like the amount you could be like, hey, can I kiss you now? Like you can just say that, or like, damn, I really want to kiss you. Like something that's like, of course that came out wrong, but like, I want to give you a kiss. Like it's got to feel sincere. But if you don't think that, like, for the most part, I'm not speaking for everybody, because now someone's going to be listening and be like, no, I've gone on so many dates where like I didn't have the chance to kiss. And I totally hear what you're saying. But I think the majority of times, if you want to create an environment where you and your date can kiss, that's what you can do. You can do that. If you don't, I think about the times that I've been on dates with people who I didn't want to kiss and I didn't kiss them. And then I've been on dates with people who I didn't want to kiss, but I kissed them anyway because I was like awkward. I was like, oh shit, she wants a kiss and I don't know what to do because I don't like this person, but I did it.
Yeah, and I've had guys ask me like, can I kiss you now? And I'm like, I really don't like that question. I know I know we're in the age of consent. I know consent over everything. Yes, I agree with that. However, I've had guys say like, is it okay for me to kiss you? Like, I want to kiss you. Like, can I? Especially now in like the COVID era of the last year, people being like, can I kiss you? Which I'm glad that people have asked that from like a health and safety standpoint. But I've had guys say that and I don't want to kiss them, but I feel like saying no in that moment is so uncomfortable. And I'd rather kiss them than say no. Because it's so awkward.
I love you dearly, but there's probably something deeper to unpack there that neither one of us is qualified for.
No, I mean, it's just hard. It's like, I really want to kiss you right now. I really don't want to kiss you. Like that's
you got to stand up for yourself, Alana. You got to, if you don't want to kiss somebody, you should absolutely never feel like you have to. And now a word from our sponsor.
Shout out to our amazing sponsor, Mindset Wellness CBD. I am holding in my hand right now a jar that looks like it's happy gummies. However, it's actually a triple threat, including happy, rest, and calm, because I was leaving my apartment for a week and I didn't have enough room to pack all three of my jars, but I didn't want to live without any of my favorite Mindset Wellness CBD gummies. So I really hope that by now you have tried them. If not, I highly, highly recommend it. They have helped me sleep. They have helped me just like be calm and relax and also just like feel good. And CBD doesn't get you high. It is not addictive. Mindset Wellness's gummies and all of their products are gluten-free, non-GMO, vegan. They taste incredible. And I seriously, I love these and I'm getting all my friends to try them and we all really love them and the company's amazing. And if you aren't sure which one you want to try, there's a sampler pack that you can get with a bunch of different gummies, all of the flavors, all of the mindsets. So definitely check them out and let us know what you think. You can head to mindsetwellnesscbd.com and obviously use our code Seeing Other People for 10% off and free shipping. Back to the app.
Is it a bad thing when a guy says you're hard to read? Have you ever been told you're hard to read, Alana?
I don't think so, because I am an open book.
Open book and hard to read are two different things. Hard to read means understanding someone's energy and what they want. Open book means I can ask you any question and you're going to maybe say the answer.
That's true. I don't know. I don't think I've been told that, because I think I'm very showy with like my emotions and what I want. And because I don't play games, I think that would be why. What about you?
I think I've been told I'm hard to read, maybe, but it's definitely not consistent enough.
Do you think people tell their friends that you're hard to read?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I don't think so. That also doesn't seem like a category of like, he's hard to read. But I'm looking at the question, is it a bad thing when a guy says you're hard to read? The short answer is no, it is not a bad thing when a guy says you're hard to read. He might just be trying to be flirty with you. Ooh, yeah. You're hard to read.
I think it adds that aspect of like mystery, like, ooh, what's going on here, which people like.
Yeah.
So I think that's okay. And I think it also means like, you're hard to read, but I want to read you. Like I want to get to know you more and figure you out. So I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
Blessings.
And I think you could use that as an opportunity to be like, okay, well, like, what do you like? What, how can I don't know. Not like, how can I be easier to read, but like, okay, like let's get into it then. Like,
Or what do you think I'm thinking? Or what do you want to know
Yeah.
that I'm thinking?
I think you could get into like a really flirty back and forth.
Someone who's listening is gonna be like, okay, I'll try that on my next date. And they go on a first date, and the first question they ask when they sit down is like, "You're hard to read." It's like the first thing you say. That's actually a hilarious way to start a conversation. That's maybe a good Hinge answer, by the way. Like that's like someone's prompt answer, or like signed to a DM by saying, "You're hard to read."
Oh my God.
Next question.
Okay. Do you call a guy out for not planning out dates ever? If so, how? I think you absolutely should, because date planning, though not everyone is good at it, it's important. And it should be an equal effort thing. I think you both have to either like switch off planning dates, or like one person plans the first two and then you say like, okay, like let me plan the next two, because you want to show a like mutual effort, but mutual interest. So I do think like, let's say you're the girl in the situation and you have planned like the first 3 dates. Why don't you say like, your turn, like surprise me with what we're going to do on the 4th date, or like your turn, like why don't you pick out what we do on Friday?
Yeah, and I love that, by the way. When someone's like, I think the communication of who should plan what is great. I don't expect anything from anybody ever. So it's like, if I want someone who I'm going to go on a date with to plan, I'll be like, you plan it, I'm excited. And if you feel like you're in a situation where you're always doing the planning, as Alana just said perfectly, just put it on them. Say, hey, you plan this date. And then if they have an excuse, be like, it's all good. We could there's literally no pressure, by the way, because I do think as a guy, sometimes we feel a little bit of pressure. Like if someone's like, if someone alludes to the fact that we want to plan a date, my head is like, oh my God, I got to plan the best date of all time. When really, I'm sure all she wants is just some initiative.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be something complicated.
It can be the most simple thing ever. It could just be like, okay, like I've been dying to try this restaurant, or I'd love, like, this is one of my favorite spots. Would love for you to try it. It just shows that like it just shows you care.
Yeah.
And can think of something that you think the other person would enjoy, even if it's just like, we're going to have a night in and watch a movie because I want you to see my favorite movie. It's just like showing that little bit of like personalness, a new word added to the dictionary, personalness.
Do you think it's possible to rekindle a relationship after a year plus of separation? Can you want me to go first? I'll go first.
Go.
Possible, yes. Granted, all we know is it looks like there was a year plus of separation. We don't know why. We don't know if it was a breakup or a distance, or I think it depends on that. So if it's, I'm just going to assume. Or a pandemic. If it's a breakup, I do not believe it will work out. If it's a distance thing and now you're back in the same city, I think you got a shot. And if it's the pandemic and it was then also distance, I think you have a shot. But if you broke up once, there's a year apart, I think I've never heard of that working. And that's just data. That's just data-driven answer right there. Alana's thoughts?
I think it goes back to that question we talked about earlier about second chances, where if for some reason it didn't work out, but now, which is why like you were separated for that year, but now that situation has changed and you've both acknowledged it and communicated about it and talked about how it's going to be different, then yes, I think it's worth trying. But if it was just like you were in different places, or like you went, I don't know. I think it could work. Where was the question? Possible to rekindle a relationship. I think it's hard. I've tried and it didn't work.
There we go.
I've tried and it ended up like completely failing, where like I had my heart broken like worse than the first time. And it wasn't like we tried for like a month. It was like we tried for one night and it hurt worse than the first time. So I would proceed with caution, in all honesty, because if it was a breakup and you're just like, okay, like maybe we want to try again and see if there's something still there, really, really, really proceed with caution. Like from the bottom of my heart, I tell you that, because it could really hurt if it doesn't work out.
Well said.
And that's the tea.
Is it weird to still need closure if you're in a healthy relationship now? Yes. It's weird.
Yes, and I don't know. I
Here we
kind of
go.
disagree.
The point is to disagree. Either way, we can totally disagree.
I know. I think I disagree because I think there are a lot of different things. Usually you don't get closure from somebody else. Like, I think that the main thing about closure is that closure comes from within, and closure comes from a lot of reflection and changing and figuring out why something didn't work. So you could be in a new relationship that's going really well and still be thinking about something that happened in a previous relationship that's not necessarily like, well, like, why didn't he like me, or like, why didn't she, like, why didn't I say I love you back when she said it to me, like, so, like, anything like that.
I completely agree with you, by the way. I everything you just said, I agree with. And I think maybe I just misread the question, not to cut you off, but are you hearing this question as, is it weird to still need or still want, or are those different words? All I meant was that you should not seek closure from the person. I agree with you fundamentally that it is okay to think about wanting closure.
Right.
That thought is valid. Your thoughts are always valid. But are you saying that it's appropriate to go back to that person and say, hey, I know I'm in a healthy relationship right now, but I need to know why we broke up?
Yeah, hell no, don't do that.
Okay, so we agree on this.
Yeah, no, if you're like, I'm in a healthy relationship, but I need to go hit up my ex to like get this answer about why this thing didn't work out, absolutely not. You are setting yourself up for a disaster in like multiple different areas of your life. Do not do that. Find closure within.
Yeah, find closure within. We completely agree. And you're also, for what it's worth, if you even choose to not take our advice and go do this, whatever they said to you isn't the truth. So
true.
Go, yeah. Anyway.
Usually, I think like 9 out of 10 times when you seek closure from someone else, you're not going to get it. You're either going to get like a half-baked answer or a lie or something. Like, you're not going to get a real answer that's actually going to help you deal with it.
Yeah.
Closure comes from within.
And even if they do give you the truth, you'll still think that they're not telling you the truth.
Yeah.
You'll be like,
just like, don't go down that path. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. I'm picturing the scene in Mean Girls where it's like, don't have sex because you will get pregnant and die.
Yeah.
Don't have sex in a missionary position. Don't have sex standing up. Just don't do it. Don't seek closure from your ex. Don't text them asking why. Just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. All right, one more and then let's get into the detailed ones.
Okay, here's a good one. Why do guys lose interest after a few days of flirting? What is
Jonah.
Let me ask you first, then I'll give my answer. Have you ever felt like a guy has lost interest after a few days of flirting with you?
I don't think it's necessarily like losing interest, more so as it would be likely that some like it just fades or fizzles naturally, or like someone forgets to respond because something else is happening in their life that's more pressing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the exact answer then. That's kind of perfect, because I don't think anyone ever loses interest in the sense of like, as mean as that sounds, like losing interest is a very like harsh thing to say. I think it's more like, it's a very ADD driven, like millennial world of modern romance, and therefore lots of options, lots of different things happening, lots of different ways to talk and meet to people. And unfortunately, that sometimes that can be misconstrued as losing interest when I don't think it's like that personal. Which
I agree.
Goes both ways, by the way. You know, it's
especially if it's just after a few days. Like, that's the thing. Yeah. You can't take it personally. And the same goes for like somebody didn't respond on a dating app, or like like people are like, oh yeah, like I got ghosted after we matched. Like, no, it's not ghosting. It's not personal. It has nothing to do with you. Like, we're all busy people and everyone's just trying to like figure out their life and their own shit. And like, it has nothing to do with you. Preach. Unless you have met in person. It's not personal.
Hey everybody, want to take a quick second to shout out the best thing that happened to me since being able to turn off the caps feature of the iPhone. There we go. That's something clever. I want to shout out our sponsor, Mindset Wellness CBD gummies. Specifically the focus ones. You guys know I do love the rest ones. I actually do take those every night. Again, so fucking funny. People say, do you actually take these things? I'm like, yo, literally all I can do is I can't wait to look. I know they wanted us to like push the focus, which I love. And I feel very accomplished because I've been taking these things, and I just finished a draft of a new script, which is very exciting. Hopefully coming to a screen near you in a couple of years. But those really helped out. They got CBD in them to sort of calm my mind. And these things help you focus. They're non-GMO. They're gluten-free. They're really great. And again, it's an awesome company, Mindset Wellness CBD. But talking about the rest ones real quick, I just got to say, I went to sleep. It was Saturday night last night. I was asleep by 9 p.m., woke up at 6 a.m., feeling fucking amazing, went for a jog around McCarran Park. I'm all about that rest, getting that good sleep, doing that properly. So you have, sleep is a weapon, guys. Get your 8 to 9 hours. Anyway, we got you guys a code. Seeing other people gets you 10% off and free shipping. We seriously love this stuff. Hopefully you've tried it by this point, and let us know what you think if you have. Love CBD Mindset Wellness. Mindset Wellness CBD. I'm dyslexic. Don't make fun of me. Don't make fun of me for being dyslexic. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks so much. Back to the episode. Bye. Got some emails from you guys. Some nice emails. Thank you everyone who's emailed us. If you want to send us an email, seeingotherpeoplepodcast@gmail.com. We then read these out in the show. You can remain anonymous, of course, and we get to dive a little more specifically into what's going on in your life. So Alana, you want to take this first email?
All right, so this email is from V. So I've been talking to this guy for 10 plus months. We met on a dating app, and even though we live in the same city, we haven't met in person. We had talked about meeting at first, but then he kind of said he wasn't feeling it and blamed COVID. I let it go and have been viewing it as a bit of fun and a distraction. We've also been open that we talk to, or in my case, are seeing other people occasionally. I like him, of course, but it wasn't going anywhere until a month ago. He said the next step would be for us to meet. I said I needed to think about it because it felt a little intimidating after having built such a virtual relationship. I finally agreed, and he responded that the next step doesn't actually mean that he wants to meet now, that he isn't sure if he wants to meet, but that he still cares about me and wants to continue talking. I kind of broke things off, and he was super upset about that, but have since kind of waffled because I miss his companionship. What do you guys take this as? Is he playing games, or I just don't even know how to read the situation at this point? So actually, any advice or thoughts would be great. Not sure of the relevance, but we're both in our mid-20s, living in Munich, Germany. I'm American, and he is French. So, I see you're taking a picture of me. What up, world?
It's a video for the AMA Day. Continue. What's your first take?
So, my first take is that this is not going to go anywhere. I think, unfortunately, maybe not even unfortunately, I know Jonah wants to cut that word out of the dictionary. This is one of those situations where you guys were probably both lonely during COVID and you needed someone to talk to. I think it's really off-putting that he does not want to meet in person, and for that reason, I think breaking things off is the right thing to do. I know you tried and you missed his companionship, and that's normal because you're used to talking to someone every day. You have this virtual relationship. Of course, it's going to feel like an empty hole if you in your life if you suddenly don't talk. But I really don't think that this situation is going to go anywhere if he, at this point, it's been 10 plus months and he doesn't want to meet. Jonah?
Yeah, you guys are going in circles. Yeah. It seems like but I also don't know. I'm American, he is French. I don't know the Germany, American, French sauces. I don't know what the courtesy, maybe this is normal. But here in New York, it's not. So I don't know. I unfortunately can't give a honest answer. But from just looking at the base elements here, just delete the number. They're just the zeros and ones,
Yeah. Or you could be like, hey, look, I've really enjoyed talking to you, and obviously it would suck to not be in each other's lives, but I'm at the point where either we should meet in person or we should stop this. And I think in this case, that ultimatum is fair to give. Okay, so next question. This was either emailed or DM'd to us. I remember seeing it and reading it and thinking about it, and I answered a brief version of it on the AMA. I can't find the actual question, but I said that we were going to discuss this on the episode. So the backstory is that they were seeing each other, guy and girl were seeing each other, and liked each other a lot. And then he kind of said that he needed to focus on other aspects of his life or his career, and that them being together couldn't work right now, but in the future it can. And her question was do I wait around for him? What do I do? Is this actually going to happen? Can I trust that he'll come back? And I think that's really important to talk about, because I think we all have found ourselves in situations where we're if not now, when, and do we wait? So Jonah, what do you think about that?
Like, is it timing everything? Is timing everything type question? Is
It's timing everything, and is it worth it to wait for this person to figure their life out and then be ready?
I guess this is, again, I wish I could give better advice, and I try not to just, I'm trying not to just say things if I have no like evidence or thought to it. But the only evidence I can provide is, not unfortunately, I don't use that word. The amount of times I've heard people say be like, I waited and then was let down is more than I waited and it worked out.
Yeah.
So I'll say that it might work, but 90% of the time it's, I gave them a chance and I waited and then they met somebody else, or the person who waited met somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in the like waiting thing. I've just never heard it work.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I agree. Yeah, there are very, very few instances of like, I waited while they went to med school or grad school or had like went on this life altering journey and then they came back and it worked. That to say, well, I'm not saying like it's not necessarily ever going to work, but I think the concept of somebody waiting around for somebody else to get their life together, that's not going to work, because there's always going to be that like, well, I gave you the time and like now you owe me this, or like, well, what about that whole year that I waited for you to be ready for me, type of thing. But what I think the best thing in that situation is, and this is really hard to do and takes a lot of like courage, but is to say like, I like you, I want to be with you, but while you're doing that, I'm going to continue on with my life. And when you are ready, you let me know. And if I'm also in a place that this can work, then great. And we'll go from there. But waiting and putting your life on hold and not exploring what else is out there is only going to build like resentment down the line. So I think you just have to say
100%.
like, you come to me when you're ready. And hopefully, like if we're both in the right position, then great.
I think what you said is amazing advice. The issue is that oftentimes the slope is so slippery, because what you typically get is someone being like, you think I'm just going to sit around and wait for you? I have a life too. I have to make my own decision. You get the aggressive other end of that stick,
Right.
Which is like sometimes when because here's the thing, Alana, what you just said is very valid. But the amount of times I've had like guy friends, or we've had people write in and guys have basically said what you just said to do, where it's like, hey, this isn't going to work right now, but I'm going to go live my life. I'm going to go see other people. But right now I just can't commit to this. That's kind of what we just articulated.
No, but it's the opposite. It's the other person. It's like that person saying like, I can't commit to you right now, but I want to be with you when I'm ready. And the other person saying like, you do what you need to do and then let me know. And in the meantime, I'm going to do what I need to do.
Yeah. I hear you. And I think it's very well said. I still think they're very similar lines. Which is interesting, which is very, very interesting. And I guess I've never heard of a case of someone saying what you're suggesting beyond for the first time right now, which is your piece of advice, which is wonderful advice, which is interesting. I don't know.
We'll have to talk about
Feels like an
this
episode.
more.
Feels like an episode to unpack that concept.
I think there are a lot of concepts that need to be unpacked and expanded
do like
on.
Like a timing episode. Anyway, okay, we have time for one more question.
All right.
And then we got to sign off here. I'll read one from Katie. How's that? Here we go.
Okay.
Hi, guys. So I was living in Miami for December, from December to March, and I started seeing a guy that's in med school there. We saw each other 2-3 times a week, every week from mid-January to when I left in March. He initiated 90% of the day. He initiated the dates 90% of the time. However, his schedule is obviously super rigorous because of med school, so he can't really visit me in New York. But we like each other a lot. Capital LOT. I'm also down to visit Miami whenever. Not just for him, but because I genuinely love the city. When we talked about what are we agreed to continue what we're doing. I'm in Miami now with my fam / to see him, lol. Do you think there's a future here? I really hope so, because we like each other so much, and it would be such a shame if we didn't see it through. Thanks, XOXOXOX. Gossip Girl.
We really need to do this med school residency
Yeah.
episode, like stat, because
Yeah.
we're getting so many questions about
We'll do it.
dating people in med school. Here's the thing. If you both really want to make it work, there are ways to make it work. It's going to be hard. It's going to take compromise. However, if there are two people who really like each other and are committed to making it work, then yes, there's always a way. It might not be the ideal way, but there is a way.
I'm aligned with you. I think you guys have a chance. Congratulations. You've done it. You can make it work.
It's possible. Yeah. But you have to communicate about it. You have to say I am committed to this. Are you? And if so, let's talk about how we can make this work. How often do we need to see each other? How often do we need to talk on the phone or FaceTime? What can we do to make this work for each of us? Mm-hmm. Is what you have to do. And
it sounds like it's working. It does sound like it's working, by the way.
I agree.
Great. Well, everyone who wrote into us, we appreciate you guys dearly. Always feel free to reach out with your questions. We love these Q&A episodes. We appreciate you guys listening. Please go ahead and give us 5 stars and a positive rating. Shout out to some of my haters out there. Gotta grow up. Gotta
haters
get more
gonna
hate.
Haters
gonna hate.
Demi Lovato once said, "For every person that loves you, there will be a person that hates you."
Also, always trying to improve. If you do think that I talk over Alana, please send us...
I talk over you. I want everyone to hear that. I interrupt you.
I appreciate that. But please send me the time code so I can go back and listen and hear what I'm doing wrong, and I will gladly learn.
Also, let us know if you like this type, as I interrupt Jonah, let us know if you like this type of episode. If you want us to do more Q&A episodes like this, we absolutely can. If you hate this type of episode, let us know, but don't give us a 1-star rating because of it.
1-star ratings, by the way, don't help. If you like Alana and don't like me, you still give Alana a 1-star rating if you do
Yeah, they hurt my feelings.
Yeah. But anyway, we do appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting, talking about the show.
Send it to a friend.
Send it to a friend. Send it to your parents.
Shout it from the rooftops. XOXO.
We appreciate you guys so much.
Hey guys, it's Alana and Jonah from Brooklyn.
Have a great day. See you next time.